A long-forgotten history story. Christopher Columbus was not actually the first European to reach the Americas. The Vikings had established a settlement in Newfoundland, Canada around 500 years before Columbus arrived. But over time, this fact has been lost to history, and there's a good reason for that. You see, after the Vikings left, the land remained empty for several hundred years until one day in 1492 when Christopher Columbus sailed up to this very spot and claimed it for Spain. This was a very significant moment because it marked the beginning of sustained contact between the Old World and the New World. This exchange would have a profound impact on both sides, leading to the Age of Exploration, the Atlantic slave trade, and eventually the global empires of the 16th and 17th centuries. But who were the Vikings and why did they come to North America so long before Columbus? Well, the Vikings were a Scandinavian people who lived in what is today Norway, Sweden, and Denmark. They were known for their seafaring skills and their ability to navigate the treacherous waters of the North Atlantic. In fact, they were probably the greatest sailors of their day. In the 8th century, a Viking named Eric the Red was exiled from Iceland for killing two fellow settlers. Now, Eric was looking for a new place to start over, and he set his sights on the distant land across the sea that we today call North America. With a small fleet of ships, he explored the coast of this new land and eventually settled in a place called Vinland, which we now know as Newfoundland. The Vikings established a small settlement here and began to explore the surrounding areas. They hunted the local wildlife, including a large animal that they called a bison, which is probably the same species that we know today as the American wood bison. The Vikings also encountered the native peoples of the area, and there is some evidence that they engaged in some level of trade with them. However, the settlement was short-lived. After just a few years, the Vikings abandoned Vinland and headed back to Europe. We don't know exactly why they left, but it is believed that it had something to do with the harsh climate and the lack of resources. In any case, their presence in North America was completely forgotten about until 500 years later, when Christopher Columbus arrived. The Vikings' long-lost history is an important part of the story of discovery and exploration. It reminds us that the history of the Americas is much more complex than the traditional narrative of Columbus as the intrepid explorer who discovered a new world. In reality, Columbus was just the first European to reach the Americas in recorded history. There were others before him, including the Vikings who had established a settlement in Newfoundland around 500 years before Columbus arrived. Their presence is a testament to the incredible seafaring skills of these ancient people and their desire to explore the unknown. Please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.